I did a terrible thing. I did a terrible thing. It started small. A rounding error, really. $47.23. I work at Abernathy Klein Accounting. Numbers are my life. Order is my life. And $47.23 was out of order. It bothered me. It sat there on the spreadsheet mocking my precision. Clara hadn't been sleeping well. Her art supplies were piling up, unused, in the corner of the living room. She kept saying she felt disconnected, like she was fading away. I thought maybe a weekend trip would help, something spontaneous, something romantic. $47.23 wouldn't pay for a hotel, let alone gas, so I moved it, shifted it to another account. One that was dormant, basically, a holding account for unclaimed funds. Nobody would notice. It would be back before the end of the day, a temporary loan. Except Abernathy called me into his office. He wanted to see the audit trail for that holding account. Specifically, my heart hammered against my ribs. I swallowed hard. Right away, Mr. Abernathy, I managed to say, my voice cracking. He just nodded, his eyes magnified by his thick glasses, unreadable. I went back to my cubicle, hands shaking. I needed more time. I needed to cover my tracks. I needed more money. That's when I did it. I created a phantom vendor, a fictitious invoice for consulting services, $500, enough to cover the initial $47.23 and then some. I told myself it was a one-time thing, I'd pay it back. I swear I would. But Abernathy called me in again. This time Detective Mallory was with him. She was tall, with a steely gaze that could cut through steel. "Mr. Thorne," she said, her voice low and gravelly, "we're investigating some irregularities in your department. Specifically, a new vendor, Sunrise Consulting. Sunrise Consulting, my fabricated company." I felt the blood drain from my face. I don't know anything about that," I stammered. Abernathy cleared his throat. "Elias has been a valued employee for 10 years, Detective. I'm sure there's a simple explanation." Mallory's eyes narrowed. "Everyone says that, Mr. Abernathy. There's always a simple explanation until there isn't." She handed me a business card. "Think about it, Mr. Thorne. If you remember anything at all, give me a call." The card felt heavy in my hand, like a lead weight dragging me down. That night I couldn't sleep. Clara tossed and turned beside me, muttering in her sleep. I went downstairs, poured myself a glass of whiskey, and stared out the window. The streetlights cast long, distorted shadows across the lawn. That's when I saw him. A figure standing across the street, shrouded in darkness. He was just watching. I blinked. It was gone. Paranoia started to creep in. Every creak of the house, every rustle of leaves outside the window sounded like footsteps, like someone was coming for me. I needed to fix this. I needed to make it all go away. The next day I deleted the Sunrise Consulting file, erased all traces of it from the system. A foolish, desperate act. Then Emily started coming to the office more often. Emily, the barista from the coffee shop downstairs. She was young, vibrant, full of life. Everything Clara wasn't, everything I wasn't. I found myself drawn to her, obsessively so. Her smile, her laugh, the way she effortlessly charmed everyone around her. She was a distraction, a beautiful, dangerous distraction. I started buying her coffee every morning, leaving her overly generous tips. Just paying it forward, I'd say, trying to sound casual. She'd laugh. "You're too kind, Elias, too kind." "That's a joke." One evening, I saw her walking home. I followed her. I didn't mean to. It was like I was on autopilot. I just wanted to be near her. She turned down a dark alley. I stopped, suddenly realizing the gravity of what I was doing. This wasn't me. I wasn't this kind of person. As I turned to leave, I saw him again, the figure from across the street. He was standing in the alley just behind Emily. I shouted, "Emily, watch out." She turned, startled. The figure was gone. "Elias, what's wrong?" she asked, her voice trembling. I thought I saw someone," I stammered, "probably just my imagination." I walked her home, my heart pounding in my chest. I couldn't shake the feeling that something terrible was about to happen. The next day, Detective Mallory was waiting for me in the lobby. "Mr. Thorne," she said, her voice cold, "we need to talk, now." She led me to an interrogation room. A bare, sterile space with a single table and 2 chairs. "We know about Sunrise Consulting, Mr. Thorne," she said, placing a file on the table. "We know you created it. We know you embezzled company funds." I denied everything. I lied through my teeth. I told her it was a mistake, a misunderstanding. She leaned forward, her eyes boring into mine. "We also know you've been following Emily Carter, Mr. Thorne. We have witnesses." My world started to crumble. Everything I had worked for, everything I had built was slipping away. That night, Clara confronted me. She had found a receipt for flowers. Flowers I had sent to Emily. Elias, she said, her voice barely a whisper. What's going on? Who is Emily? I couldn't lie to her. Not anymore. I told her everything. The embezzlement, the investigation, the obsession with Emily. She stared at me, her eyes filled with disbelief and pain. I don't even know you anymore, she said, tears streaming down her face. I think you should leave. She was right. I was a monster. I had ruined everything. I packed a bag and left. I didn't know where I was going. I just needed to get away. As I drove, I saw him again, the figure in the shadows. He was standing on the side of the road, watching me. I slammed on the brakes. He was gone. I started to lose it. I was seeing things, hearing things. My mind was playing tricks on me. I pulled over to the side of the road and got out of the car. I needed to clear my head. I walked into the woods. The trees were bare, the ground covered in fallen leaves. The air was cold and damp. I kept walking deeper and deeper into the woods. I didn't know where I was going. I just wanted to disappear. Then I saw it. A small cabin hidden deep in the woods. Smoke was rising from the chimney. I hesitated. I didn't know who lived there, but I was desperate. I needed help. I knocked on the door. A woman opened it. She was old, with wrinkled skin and piercing blue eyes. What do you want? She asked, her voice raspy. I need help, I stammered. I'm lost. She looked at me for a long moment, her eyes searching my soul. Come in, she said. I went inside. The cabin was small and cluttered, filled with strange objects and dusty books. Tell me what's troubling you, she said, pointing to a chair. I told her everything. Everything I had done. Everything I had seen. She listened patiently without interrupting. When I was finished, she nodded slowly. You have awakened something, she said, something dark. What do you mean? I asked, my voice trembling. You have broken the rules, she said, and there are consequences. She stood up and walked over to a shelf. She took down a small wooden box. This can help you, she said, handing me the box, but be warned, it comes at a price. I opened the box. Inside there was a small silver amulet. Wear this, she said, it will protect you. I put the amulet around my neck. I felt a strange tingling sensation. What price? I asked. The old woman smiled, a chilling, unsettling smile. You'll find out, she said. I left the cabin feeling slightly better. The amulet seemed to be working. The paranoia had subsided. The figure in the shadows was gone. I went back to my car and drove home. Clara wasn't there. She had left a note on the table. I can't do this anymore, it read. I'm leaving. Don't try to find me. I was alone, completely alone. I sat down on the couch and stared at the wall. I didn't know what to do. Then the phone rang. I picked it up. Hello, I said. We know what you did, a voice whispered, a distorted, inhuman voice. I hung up the phone. It rang again. I didn't answer. It kept ringing over and over again. Finally, I smashed the phone against the wall. Silence. I sat there in the dark, waiting. Then I heard a noise, a scratching sound, coming from inside the walls. The scratching grew louder and louder. It was like something was trying to get out. I ran outside. I didn't know where to go. I just needed to get away from the noise. I ran down the street screaming. I saw Detective Mallory standing on the sidewalk. Mr. Thorne, she said, her voice calm. It's over. She pulled out her gun. I closed my eyes, but the gunshot never came. I opened my eyes. Detective Mallory was gone. The street was empty. I looked down at my chest. The silver amulet was glowing. Then I saw him, the figure in the shadows. He was standing across the street, smiling. He raised his hand and everything went black. I woke up in a hospital bed. My head was throbbing, my body ached. A doctor was standing beside me. You're lucky to be alive, he said. You were found unconscious in the woods. You had a severe concussion. Where am I? I asked. You're in a psychiatric ward, he said. You've been diagnosed with severe psychosis. Psychosis. Madness. It was all real, the figure in the shadows, the voices, the paranoia. I wasn't just guilty. I was insane. I spent months in the psychiatric ward. I was treated with medication and therapy. Slowly, I started to get better. The voices faded. The paranoia subsided. I started to see things clearly. I realized what I had done. The terrible things I had done. I had ruined my life. I had lost my wife. I had almost destroyed myself. I would never be the same. One day, a nurse came into my room. You have a visitor, she said. I didn't know who it could be. Clara would never visit me. I went to the visiting room. Detective Mallory was waiting for me. Mr. Thorne, she said, her voice cold. I have some news. What is it? I asked. We closed the case on Sunrise Consulting, she said. We found the real culprit. It wasn't you. I stared at her stunned. What? It was Sarah Miller, she said. She confessed. She's been embezzling company funds for years. Sarah Miller, my coworker. The friendly, well-liked Sarah Miller. I couldn't believe it, but the figure in the shadows, I stammered. The voices, Detective Mallory shrugged. Psychosis is a powerful thing, Mr. Thorne. It can make you see things that aren't there. So it was all in my head. The supernatural element, the punishment, the price, or was it? There's something else, Detective Mallory said, her voice low. Emily Carter disappeared last week. My blood ran cold. We found her car abandoned on the side of the road. Mallory continued. There was no sign of her. No witnesses. You think I did it? I asked, my voice trembling. Mallory's eyes were unreadable. We have no evidence to suggest you did, Mr. Thorne. But she paused. But what? I asked. But she was last seen near the coffee shop where you used to frequent, Mallory answered, her voice chilling. And there are those who saw you following her on more than one occasion. Remember that darkness is out there, whether it comes from others or within you. One way or another, it always has a price to pay. She stood up and left the room. I was alone again. Had I done it? Had my madness driven me to commit the ultimate act of violence? I didn't know. I may never know. The amulet around my neck felt heavy. I looked out the window. The figure in the shadows was standing across the street, smiling. The price had been paid, but by whom? And what exactly had the payment been? I did a terrible thing, and maybe, just maybe, I'm still doing it.